Alright, first and foremost, I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Bashem Yoshai, Bashem Kodash, the abundance to the elders and apostles of Grimstone, and salutations to all brothers pushing this work in all sincerity and in truth. I'm the brother Yahya from James Kingston, Jamaica camp, here once again with a quick lesson. And this we're going to start this one off with the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." Right? So the word devil goes back to the word diabolos, which means slanderer or deceiver. Right? So who is that slanderer or deceiver today? Right? That slanderer or deceiver today is basically referring to Edom, who currently identifies himself as the so-called white man. Understand? They of the Caucasian race. When you jump from there to the book of Malachi, right? Think of Malachi chapter 1. It says, I start at verse 3 just to get to the point. It says, "And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever." Right? So Esau is identified as the border of wickedness. Right? Wherever this man dwells, he basically spews wickedness and pollution. You understand? So the scriptures goes and say, yo, be sober, be vigilant. You understand? Always have an eye out for this man. Always have an eye out to see what his agenda is, to see what's taking place and what he's doing. You understand? Because this man has agenda to destroy. When it goes into the word devour, it means to destroy, right? So it says that he basically going about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. If you observe the activities of a lion when it's trying to catch its prey, it's very subtle. It moves subtly, right? So you have to observe that that is what is happening right now with this push for this mass vaccination. You understand? It's happening in a gradual manner. All the processes that are taking place are due to gradualism, man. You understand? So when you see these things happening, you realize that this man's agenda through the Georgia Guidestone is to reduce the world population to around 500 million. Currently, the world population is around 7.8. I think it's around 7.8, probably reach 8 billion right now. So this man wants to basically kill off a majority of individuals in the earth. And this is according to Bill Gates and his speech that he made. I think he made the speech at TEDx. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that one. But he made the speech. You understand? So he's basically pushing this agenda through subtlety. You understand? Gradualism. You understand? So the scripture says, be sober, be vigilant. You understand? So we have to always observe and ask questions, ask vital questions as to why make these moves, man. So right now we're going to basically analyze 2 articles, actually 3 articles, and try to pick the sense out of what is being said. Right? Observe diligently out of what is being said and ask the important question of what is not being said. Right? So let's go. So this is an article from the PSOJ, which is the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. This article was posted on the 16th of August 2021. So the article says that the PSOJ calls for urgent national vaccination mobilization strategy. You understand? So the private sector is basically business sectors, which is separate from the public sector, which is the government led organization. Right? So it says, based on the current surge in Jamaica's positivity rate and the prolonging of the negative of the negative impact of the CV-19 pandemic on the nation, the private sector organization of Jamaica has been compelled to ponder the question of requiring the workforce to be vaccinated or to subject themselves to regular testing. You understand? Now, when you go down, it says after much consideration, the leadership of the PSOJ has decided that at this point it is not required. Right? So they are saying that at this point it is not required. This. Right? Based on the results of our internal surveys. The surveys conducted amongst members of the private sector indicated that 30% of the workforce is willing to take the vaccination. Right? And another 33% are indecisive and are still making their assessments to arrive at a decision. Now, question. We know that these surveys is normally based out of 100%. So if they're saying that 30% of the workforce is willing to take this, right? And 33 is undecisive. This is what's been basically documented and recorded, right? They have the number of individuals within the workforce. Why is it that only 63% you have a data on those people and their decision? What about the other 37%? What about those people? What basically description has been ascribed to those people? Right? That's a question. Right? Are those people dispensable because they haven't given their opinion on the matter? That's a question, right? So it says, going back up, it says basically another thing, right? Them actually a push forget this this mobilization strategy, but they have a data that around roughly 63% willing to go ahead, to go along to get along. And I thought that it took around 70% for herd immunity. Right? We were hearing about herd immunity earlier on, but now we're hearing that Dr. Fauci came out and said that herd immunity is no longer possible. So why keep pushing for this agenda? Right? So now when you jump down into the article, Keith Duncan, president of the PSOJ, him said this. Him say workforce, him say in commenting on the hesitancy in the workforce, PSOJ President Keith Duncan applied to the undecided. Right? So him only applied to who basically answer or respond to the survey. So what about those who did not respond? What is the situation in regards to those people? Right? So it said Jamaica currently has ample supply of the dirty waters, and I am making a strong appeal to Jamaicans to get off the fence, make good sense prevail, and go into one of the many vaccination sites and get vaccinated to save your life and lives of your family and communities. Right? Jumping down, it says that the PSOJ is recommending that the government of Jamaica encourages critical stakeholders such as churches, trade unions, private sector, the opposition, and other civil society groups into a national vaccination mobilization effort. This effort is urgently needed at this time to boost the MOHW's public education program and to neutralize the preponderance of misinformation. So now all I'm hearing within the media is that this thing is safe, right? We are not hearing the side effects, and we are not hearing the death tolls of those who have taken it, right? So are you calling these reports misinformation, right? Are you calling the negative impacts of this vaccination mobilization strategy misinformation, right? Because there are people out there who are making reports. There are people out there who are giving their statements of what has happened to their loved ones due to the acceptance of this particular drug. So that's also a question. So jumping down into the article, it says current data indicates that 96% of those that are treated for CV-19 at the University Hospital of the West Indies are unvaccinated, right? So that's a statement that is based on a particular sample group. So we don't know if this sample group is 10 people. We don't know if this sample group is 20 people or 100. Them just give it in percentage. So, but anyways, we could work with this sample, with this percentage that they have given us, right? So they are saying that 96% of these people are unvaccinated, right? So there's 4% of them who are, right? So what is the complications in regards to those people? Was it that after taking the dirty waters they got sick? So which begs to question, if it was that the 96% were vaccinated, how are we to tell, seeing that the scientists at the CDC and Dr. Fauci and all of these people has come out and stated clearly they don't know the long-term impacts or effects of this drug? So how are we to know that the 96, if they were vaccinated, they would not need medical care as well, right? So that's a question, man. So when you jump to from that article to this one basically asks some of the questions that I have basically been referring to, right? So this is an article from the Observer. It says the private sector vaccine mandates, right? Because they're actually doing stuff right now, going around workplaces and telling people that they have to basically make a choice, whether they take the vaccine or they take a weekly test, right? So these are some questions that people aren't basically taking note of or thinking about. You understand? So it says going into the article, it says this article was actually posted on August 23rd, 2021. It says within the context of the arrival of the Delta variant of the novel Crown Royal to our shores, the paradigm has shifted where mitigation and management of our outbreak is concerned. This fact is evident in the tightened restrictions imposed by the government on August 19, 2021 in response to the presence